So hello, everybody, and welcome to the Buddhist Recovery Network Academy once again. I'm Susanna, joining you from Helsinki, Finland, and I will be your host today. I'm a big fan of Buddhism recovery and Buddhist recovery. I facilitate both 8-step recovery meetings and mindfulness-based addiction recovery courses here in Finland. I'm a member of the board of the Buddhist Recovery Network. And today we have a new academy session offered by Tran. They are a Buddhist recovery community member, and they will be sharing their experience with us tonight. And the topic for tonight is the Karma Garden, a missing tool of Buddhist recovery for process addictions. And I will tell you more about Thomas and the topic just in a while. Okay, and then a few words about Dana. All of our events are given freely, and we're blessed with some amazing guests who have experience on the cushion, experience working with body, speech, and mind, experience in the ongoing practice of recovery by the way of Dharma. As we practice the Buddha's teaching of generosity, we invite you to give dana that will be given to support our ongoing Buddhist Recovery Network meetings and to support our guests. You can give on a one-time or recurring basis using the link posted in the chat field. Please be sure to indicate that your donation is for the Academy, and we sincerely thank you for your generosity. And if you forget to put there that it's for the Academy, any donation that comes during this time and a little bit after, they're directed to the Academy. So now to the main topic of tonight. So our guest for tonight or today, depending where you are in Finland, it's 8 p.m. So that's why I tend to say tonight, is Thomas. The pronouns are they and them. Thomas strives to bring growth and recovery success to Buddhist recovery by integrating 12-step recovery tools with Buddhist principles and infusing their own experience. Thomas's goal is to replicate areas of high success in the blossoming of Buddhist recovery. In Recovery Dharma, Thomas led efforts to deliver the success of weekly 12-step inventory work groups. This was achieved by Thomas's steady, slow development of a structure, a schedule, a script, and core guidelines to help members from safe groups to complete weekly inventory work. And some good news, during last week's Recovery Dharma vote for Board of Directors, Thomas tied for the most votes and was elected to a 4-year term along with another BIPOC candidate, Sherry H. Thomas looks forward to continue sharing their expansive knowledge from their own recovery to continue making Buddhist recovery accessible and more successful. And as said before, the topic for today is the Karma Garden, a missing tool of Buddhist recovery for process addictions. Do you struggle with renouncing your compulsive behavior? Thomas has readapted a vital tool for process addictions in the Buddhist framework, which they call the Karma Garden, watering seeds of self-care. This tool helps you define the behaviors you're renouncing, the insatiable cravings and damage of hungry ghosts, keep alert of risky conditions, bad karma seeds or suffering, and fill your cup with healthy self-care choices, good karma and healing. And then, Thomas, the floor or screen is all yours.
Beautiful. Thanks for that wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. So nice to be here. There's so many people here. My name is Thomas, and I use pronouns they, them. Let me share a little bit about, I think, why this is important. Let's just say if your addiction is a substance like alcohol, for example, renouncing alcohol is simple and straightforward, I would say. And then for our purposes with alcohol, either you're sober or you're drunk. And it's pretty black and white, but for processes, it's like, how do you renounce people? Or how do you renounce love or sex or food? And you can't just say, I'm not going to eat, or I'm not going to be around people. So I think this topic is so important to really get very defined about how we approach our recovery. The Buddha loved lists, and it's important for us in our recovery, I think, to also make lists about what has led karmically to our acting out. And so I'm going to use Hungry Ghost as part of how we can talk about how we can help our sobriety. But before we do that, I'm going to do a meditation, and I'm going to start it off with a talk from Thich Nhat Hanh. And let me get it started over here. It's only a couple minutes, and then I'll start the meditation. So here we go. Go ahead, Thich Nhat Hanh.
Our society is organized in such a way that we produce tens of thousands of hungry ghosts every day. They have not received love from their parents, their society, their tradition. Nobody has understood them. That is why they are very hungry of love and understanding. And they are looking for something to believe in. And hungry ghosts, even if they have a big belly like this, they have a very tiny throat. As small as a needle, it is described in the sacred text. Hungry ghosts have a throat that is as small as a needle. So even if you have a lot to offer, it's very difficult for them to absorb. Even if you have plenty of food, plenty of water, plenty of love to offer, it's difficult for them to absorb because nobody has understood them, nobody has loved them. They suspect everything, they suspect everyone. We have helped a certain number of hungry ghosts like that. We know that it is difficult. We know that we need each other in order to help. We have to reorganize our society in such a way that we stop producing more hungry ghosts. This is very important. And we should practice looking deeply in order to be able to understand these hungry ghosts and not to continue to blame them because they have not received any understanding and therefore any love.
Thank you all. So I think it's important that he said, one, no matter how much food or how much water we have, there's no satiation. And secondly, that we have to stop blaming them and offer them compassion. So let's go ahead and you can get into a comfortable position to sit or lie down. Just relax. And if you feel safe, close your eyes and take a deep breath. We'll have a short meditation. And breathe in slowly. And exhale slowly. And you can visualize yourself walking in a green garden with the sun shining above you. And you see a somber human sitting in a tree stump in a yard. And as you approach, you realize that it's a hungry ghost. And just like you've heard, this hungry ghost has been blamed by society, but also that these hungry ghosts have been created by the societies that blame them. So as you look at this ghost, you realize that you feel a sense of compassion towards it. And you recognize that the ghost is suffering from an insatiable craving that it can never satisfy. And you feel a sense of empathy for this ghost, realizing that you too have felt the same hunger, this thirst that's unquenchable, a thirst where you have felt even thirstier with every sip of water. So take a moment to connect with the feeling of wanting within yourself. Maybe it's a craving for love, for success, for recognition, or just appreciation, or anything else. And allow yourself to feel this hunger fully without judging it. And as you connect with this feeling, imagine that you're extending compassion towards this part of yourself. Allow yourselves to feel a sense of kindness and understanding towards the hungry ghost within you. And you can see yourself reaching out your hand and offering it to this ghost as a symbol of your willingness to help and support this part of yourself. And this hungry ghost trusts you and takes your hand and follows you from the trunk that it was sitting on and out into the garden with you. And you notice the ghost begins to transform. Its body fills out, its eyes brighten, and it begins to radiate with a sense of well-being. And you feel a sense of joy and relief as you witness this transformation also within you. And just take a few deep breaths as we sit in this feeling for a moment. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes if they're closed and return to the present moment. Thank you. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for your practice. So, this is a really special talk to me. I've been developing this Karma Garden since 2020. So it's been a few years. So I thought I wasn't ready to present it today, but I realized that it's been a while, so I'm ready. So like I said, what if your process addiction is love or sex or people, something that you just can't totally renounce? When people started out talking about substance addictions, it was very easy to say it's black and white. I'm sober or I'm not. It's all or nothing. But we're seeing that process addictions are just a complex spectrum of colors. It's not black and white. And we need vocabulary, we need language to be able to communicate that. So for instance, I love the word acting out. I think whoever first used that word in recovery should get a Nobel Prize. We can say, I'm acting out, and without even having said what the addiction is, another person understands, oh, they've set a boundary for themselves. Oh, I can empathize that they've set the boundary and they've broken their boundary and they feel bad. And all of that is communicated just by saying 2 words, acting out. And when we have language like that, it's really powerful. We can make a lot of progress. So I think we can do that also with the Karma Garden. I know we're just okay. For some reason my timer is just going so fast, so I'm realizing I can just slow down. All right, thanks. Yeah, the Karma Garden just really allows us to get liberated beyond this idea of some of the traditions of traditions of older methodologies. We've had problems of substance addictions where people weren't allowed to use medically assisted treatment because someone else had defined someone else's or my sobriety, and what the Karma Garden allows is so that we each get to define our own sobriety or renunciation. So one thing important that I like about the Karma Garden is that no one else can really compare with my Karma Garden. No one else can really say my Karma Garden is wrong compared with another person's, and that it's okay for me to say, if I just can't watch TV because it causes me suffering, then that's totally okay. For another person, that's fine. So I'm going to go into some pretty simple examples of Karma Gardens just to get us kicked off. And I'm going to share on screen here some ways that I've written these. Starting off with I need to start explaining. So there's basically there's basically 3 lists, and this is a system that many fellowships use: Sex Addicts Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, Internet and Technology Addicts. But basically there's 3 lists. There's a renunciation list, there is a trigger list or risky behavior list, and then there's a beautiful list of good karma, of wonderful reminders of good things that we love to do, inner child worthy list, and healthy things that we can do. A lot of times we forget this list over here. But one of the easiest, well, for me, is to say, okay, here's a process addiction of gambling. And in gambling, my hungry ghost renunciation behavior might be playing slots, or being at the tables, or buying lotto tickets, or betting on sports or horses. And the things that might lead me there, which is the triggers or the boundaries, is going to a casino, or going to a bar, or starting a fantasy sports team. And so as I'm creating this list, it may not make sense yet, but I'll start to see how, as I add to this list, it protects me from actually acting out, and it reinforces positive behaviors and good karma. And so in the good karma list, a behavior that helps me stay good is staying sober and clean, doing inner child activities like flying kites or coloring, or actually playing real sports. And I'll have instructions for these later, but this is just to show you guys examples. Food is a lot harder, and so I was discussing this with my partner Kimberly, who has some disordered eating habits, and so they discuss with me some of the more difficult nuances of disordered eating, and so some people do intuitive eating, and in the case of what some people renounce is fasting between the hours of 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And so sobriety relapsing might consist of if I eat after the hours of 8 and before the hours of 8 a.m. Or forgetting the number of snacks I've eaten. Something that might lead me there is watching late night TV, or eating more than 2 snacks per day. And good karmic momentum that keeps me from that might be eating normal meals every day, staying within my fasting, and allowing myself 1 snack per day. And this might be completely different for another person with eating disorders. And then I have other examples here for intuitive eating, which is a pretty kind of it's a very specific style of recovery for disordered eating, where people honor their hunger, they feel their fullness, and we can take into account different modalities of recovery and still apply them into this karma garden. For people that, for example, binging and purging as a part of food addiction, if there are people that's their bottom line or their relapse behavior, maybe their boundaries are, if I'm feeling body dysmorphia or emotional distress, that leads me there, so I want to reach out, or and good karmic momentum there, or in the garden I might put being mindful about my eating, savoring my food. And so I also want to kind of put like I have another video here that kind of gets briefly into why I think it's important to phrase things in terms of the positive. I don't say do not eat from so and so, and Simon Sinek has a really good thing on this. Let me actually share my audio here. Oh, I already am. Okay, let's go here.
The human brain cannot comprehend the negative. It is incapable. Yes, it's true. I'll give you an example. Don't think of an elephant. Can't tell the human brain not to do something. Skiers know this. If you ever seen skiers go through trees, do you know how they do that? If you go through trees on skis and you go, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, guess what you're watching? You're only looking at trees. All you're doing is seeing trees. You don't understand how anyone can ski with all these trees, as opposed to follow the snow, follow the path, follow the path. The only thing you see is the path. It's the same thing for you. If you focus on the obstacles, all you will see is obstacles. If you focus on the path through the trees, all you will see is path through the trees. It's your choice how you choose to perceive your own career. It's literally perspective.
Okay, that was super simple, but what we've done in recovery for the past 50 years or whatever.
If you look at the human animal,
I'm sorry.
The human animal is like a machine. There are systems.
Well, is basically we're staring at these hungry ghosts. We're staring at this list. We're saying, hi, my name is Thomas, I'm an alcoholic. And I'm reminding myself I'm an alcoholic. Hi, I'm a sex addict. I'm reminding myself I'm not supposed to look at porn. And I'm thinking immediately, like, this is my behavior? When I should be thinking, what I want is a healthy lifestyle. What I want is to be eating well and savoring my food. What I want is to be hanging out with my kids and showing up for people and having a happy life. So yeah, I personally think that's important, having this view of the glass is half full instead of kind of the glass is always half empty. If I'm always staring at the hungry ghost sitting on the trunk, then I'm never actually looking at the beautiful things in the garden that exist. Here's another example for shopping. I think that one's simple. This one might be a little bit more triggering. You can probably pause your audio if you want for a few minutes. But I think this is really important. We have a whole precept on this. So the Buddha thought it was important. And the Buddha at his time didn't have massage parlors where people acted out. He didn't have to worry about pornography. But I'm someone that identifies as a love and lust addict, and I'm a founder of the Love and Lust Sangha in Recovery Dharma. It's very complicated to keep track of all these boundaries. Like, yes, I can keep track of, all right, I'm not supposed to use substances, but when I have like 10 of these different boundaries, there's no way I can keep track of it. And when my feelings change from day to day and my mood is as impermanent, it's likely that these boundaries are going to change all the time. So I need to have written these down when I'm in a clear state of mind in order to stay sober, to stay renounced. So, and these don't always match up one-to-one like this. It's just convenient this way right now. But if I'm driving past an acting out place without setting an intention or bookending with a friend, that means like texting before and after I pass by, then that's bad karma for me. That means without doing anything, I'm gonna slope and slip into this behavior. And then if I want to stay in good karma from this, I set an intention to text a friend, which means bookending before and after passing by an acting out place. For different people, they have different. There are people that use porn without tripping, and they're fine. But there are people that use porn that just cannot stop, and they lose their weekends, they lose their wives, they lose everything. So this is important, I think. And it's important for us to be able to talk about this. Some people, when they stop using porn, they start using self-pleasure, using social media. Something like this, in my case, might be I'm partnered, so instead of self-pleasure, I might plan intimacy with my partner. And I had a question once in an S fellowship that said, what is healthy masturbation or healthy sexuality? And I'm like, oh my God, that is a really complicated question. And eventually I decided that there was a such thing, and it might just be some frequency of pleasure without using images, with a maximum frequency per day. But these are all things that each individual has to define for themselves, and that's part of the power of each of these different kinds of each of these karma gardens. So what I'd love to do now is, let's see, how much time do we have? Susanna?
So a little bit over 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Depending if you want to have Q&A at the end as well. So
okay, great. Well, I was going to do something where we're going to have an activity sort of where I just try to, let's hope this works. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh no. Okay. All right. Okay, so what I was gonna do is sort of like work with y'all to sort of write out a karma garden. And I thought that I was gonna ask people to do it with me, but I'll leave instructions for everybody. But and what's nice is this is gonna be a recording that everyone can sort of look at. So the karma garden, it starts out by simply everyone gets a piece of paper, put it in a landscape mode, and we draw this red circle in the middle. And here in this circle is, I call it the hungry ghost yard. And here in this hungry ghost yard, let's say we'll do a really difficult one. A difficult one for me, and this is for me personally, is people pleasing. So how the heck am I going to renounce people pleasing? And I had to really think about this. And so I basically started to, I've created inquiry questions so that it makes it super easy. If we answer the inquiry questions, we end up with a karma garden. So the first inquiry question is, how did the people pleasing used to help me? For example, a survival skill. And I wrote that people pleasing used to help me by pleasing an angry person, would keep me safe from anger. I fawned to avoid painful feelings of shame, rejection, and abandonment. Sometimes it got me social approval and gave me social connection. And then the third question now, though, is how is it harmful? I abandoned myself. So don't abandon self. Let's see. I start to feel resentful that my need isn't met. Don't resent myself. These ones are actually less clear. I can ruminate on it until I explode at someone else, and then there's also negative self-talk occurring at me, and people can get mad at me for not stating my needs. And then for the fourth inquiry question, I say, name some goals that I have regarding my addictive habit that doesn't seem to help me as a motivational interviewing. So it helped me. Oh, in my life, I want to be able to rely on myself. I want to be true to myself. I want to be true to my feelings. I want to be in touch with my own feelings rather than the hypervigilance of taking on other people's emotions, and respecting and loving myself and respecting and loving others. But this is actually, the fifth question is reducing harm. What boundaries do I choose to set for myself that'll benefit the things I wrote in 3 and 4? So these are actually just kind of like a subset that'll help me get to the real boundaries I set here. So the boundaries here that I'm considering as what is relapse is not pausing before I speak, not giving myself a chance to say no, not giving myself a chance to say no. Because I automatically say yes. Not connecting with my feelings before speaking. This one's important, I think. Not being okay with someone being upset with me. And then not honoring my feelings. And okay, yeah, and I think that for people pleasing, this is probably one of the hardest ones that I've ever done, in terms of the Hungry Ghost Yard. Congratulations, Thomas. You did something pretty hard. All right. Okay, so the next level is there's going to be another circle. I draw it in yellow or gold or orange. And this is the slopes, or as a verb I call it sloping. As a verb I call this one ghosting, which of course has other terms, but I mean other definitions. But so for sloping, these are all the things that if I don't do anything, they're just gonna I'm gonna end up ghosting. So for gambling, it used to be like visiting a casino, going to a bar. But in terms of people pleasing, there's what I've written for the inquiries is list the internal conditions that I have felt or thought that have caused me to act out. And what I've listed here is when I feel inferior, feelings of inferiority, feelings of stress, overworking. So it could be feelings or behaviors, lying about my addiction, lying by omission, even going to sleep early every night. It means that I'm avoiding something every night. So this can get really, really complicated. And for some people put like not making program calls every week, or not going to my meetings will lead me to acting out. To meetings. Okay, and so yeah, as you can see, this is just kind of like a gravitational, this is a slope that just leads me to this ghosting place. But really, the most beautiful part of this whole garden is this vast greenness. And what I love about the garden is that it's an infinite, boundless garden. There are infinity options to do beyond these slopes, and for different people, it's a lot of times it's the same things. So for people pleasing, it's like for the three refuges: Sangha, Dharma, Buddha, which means meetings, having admirable friends and companions, reading recovery literature, listening to Dharma talks, for Buddha, it might be meditation, washing dishes mindfully, thanks Thich Nhat Hanh. And then there's a whole slew of other things, inner child things, like playing music, practicing guitar or piano or any instrument, learning something new, like, I don't know, a new language, reading anything, journaling. But the list is really endless. And I think we're running out of time. So what I'm gonna do here, sorry, y'all. I'm gonna show you and link you all to a list of items that I've already put together, so that you can really quickly. It's kind of like a cheat sheet of so many things that, and then you'll start to see that, oh my gosh, like, these are the things that I can do in recovery. These are all the gardening things. And we start to realize that recovery is just beautiful. It's not so much when we're staring down the ghost yard. And it gets easier when we know how to stay out of the ghost yard. But whenever I'm in trouble and I realize, okay, I'm in trouble, what do I do? And then my mind is confused or filled with hurt feelings, then I have this single piece of paper that I can turn to, and I look at it and I go, okay, oh, I have all these green things that I can go to. And then I can go to the museum, I can go fellowship, I can go look at my sloping behaviors, I can get and receive hugs, I can hang out with loved ones, I can show up for people and be of service. And sorry it's so small. I see you squinting there, Carol. Okay, so, whoops, be of service. And I'm going to share this link with you. I'm going to share this link with you. The link is bit.ly/example karma garden, I think. But I'll share this link with you. But and there are also at the bottom of this link is inquiries. The inquiries that I talked about, that are the instructions here. So it's 45 minutes into this teaching, and I'd love to hear if there are any questions. This has just been really fun being able to share with you all. I really hope this helps your recovery, because it's been helpful for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to thank you at this point already, Thomas, because this tool is amazing. I know that you're a thorough person, somehow I got this impression, but this is kind of like, whoa, it's so creative, and thoroughness it's amazing, and how useful it is, kind of like hand-on. And I'm just looking forward to using it and trying it out. And what I liked about this, the picture that you drew, it brings to my mind that, without the practice, our mind is very contracted. So it's in the garden of the hungry ghosts. And with the practice, the awareness, it grows bigger and bigger, and so does your garden.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
so
open,
excited
limitless.
about this.
Yeah.
Yes. So, okay, thanks everybody. See you next month at the latest.
Okay. Take care, y'all.
Take care.
Be well.
Bye-bye.